At the start of the series, we hear a voice saying that our lives always belong to our clan. My father used to tell me this all the time, but I never understood its true meaning. Now, as I'm close to death, I finally get it. We then see the main character, Sion, kneeling. A man approaches Sion and says, "I'm quite surprised to see such a strong warrior kneeling before us, especially in front of the 7 generals, the most powerful in our kingdom." The man looks at one of the generals, whom Sion had killed, and we learn this man's name is Boris. Boris says, "You can't escape from here, Sion." Sion responds, "Do you really think I can't get out of here? Don't you know about me? Are you doubting my power?" Boris starts laughing and says, "You really are quite strong." Then Sion begins to release his power with his weapon, and a blood-red aura starts spreading around him. Boris is shocked as Sion's entire body transforms, surrounded by this intense red aura. Seeing this, Boris gets a bit scared but then explains that there's a protective barrier around their clan, which is 9th rank magic, and Sion won't be able to defeat it. But Sion doesn't listen and moves forward, demanding to know who caused all the troubles for him and his clan. Boris just laughs and says, "You know who did it." Sion releases his aura again and says, "Tell me quickly, did the Emperor do all this? If the Emperor did it, he won't survive either. I'll kill him too." We learn that Sion is an assassin. The mastermind behind Sion's trouble steps forward, and as Sion sees him, he remembers his father's words. His father had told him that only Aesel, Sion's older brother, could lead their clan forward, and Sion's success was tied to Aesel's success. Seeing Aesel, Sion is completely shocked. He kneels and says, "What is my big brother doing here?" Aesel steps forward with his sword and says, "You're surprised to see me here. Let me explain what's going on. You fulfilled all your responsibilities well, for the clan and even for me. But now, your time is up. You've done everything needed, including what was necessary for me. There's no chance for you to stay alive. If you don't die, it will create a lot of problems for me. So, it's best if you die now." Sion was shocked to hear his brother's words and asked, "What's going on? Why are you doing all this? I've never done anything wrong to you." Meanwhile, Aesel grabbed his sword and moved forward to kill Sion in one strike. But Sion, wanting to understand everything, grabbed his own weapon and said, "If you have betrayed the clan, you will be punished, Aesel, no matter what orders our father gave." Aesel looked at his brother, seeing the bloody aura surrounding him, and said, "You are a monster, just like father said. You should have been killed long ago. Why did father keep you alive, thinking you could be loyal to our clan? But you betrayed us, and now, as a monster and a demon, you must die." Hearing these accusations, Sion got very angry and said, "Maybe you've forgotten all I've done for you, which is why you're acting like this. Let me remind you. At first, there were no demons. Everyone fought each other to become the emperor. But then the demon clan attacked the human clan, starting a war across the continent. I used my power to help you become king of this kingdom, and you gained power and fame. But what did you do? You betrayed me, tried to kill me, and sent many generals to do it. Now, Aesel, you'll pay for all this." Sion began to use his true power, but he was badly injured and started bleeding heavily. He said, "Even if I die here, I won't die alone. Aesel, you'll die with me." But Aesel responded, "Do you really think you can kill me?" The guardians and generals here asked, "What should we do?" Boris said, "Everyone calm down. There's a powerful barrier here. He can't do anything to us." Seeing Sion using his true power, Aesel said, "You are a monster, a demon. Killing you will make me a true hero." A fight broke out between Aesel and Sion, both very strong and giving each other a tough challenge. Sion couldn't understand how Aesel had become so strong, as he hadn't been able to face his true form before. Both of them used their divine weapons, trying to kill each other. At one point, Aesel moved behind a 9th-level magic shield, making Sion's attacks ineffective and giving Aesel a perfect opportunity to strike back. Taking advantage of this, Aesel attacks Sion's body, leaving him significantly weakened. As Sion falters, Aesel taunts him, "You were always weak. I could have defeated you any time. Now, your death will be agonizing. Initially, I thought I would kill you quickly, but now you'll die a terrible death." He laughs maniacally. Meanwhile, Sion ponders his mistakes, wondering what he did to deserve such a fate. His childhood was rough, and when he finally gained some power, his own brother betrayed and killed him. Is this how I'll die? I must seek revenge. Now's my chance since no one can see me, and the barrier is down. I can attack Aesel with my secret technique. As Sion prepares to strike, Aesel turns around and is stunned to see Sion advancing. Sion declares, "This is my revenge for everything you did to me and my family." He lunges with his knife towards Aesel's throat. At that moment, Aesel also attacks, and Sion's life ends. Suddenly, Cyan hears a voice calling him young master and wakes up to find his maid by his side. She suggests he had a nightmare, given his strange behavior. Seeing her unchanged appearance, Cyan is astonished. You look the same as you did years ago, and this room is just as I remember. Have I survived despite everything? Confused, the maid asks what he is talking about. Cyan realizes, have I reincarnated into my past life from years ago? He recalls reading novels about heroes reincarnating to secure their future. The maid reminds him he has training with his brother today, urging him to prepare. She offers him advice to concede, but Cyan, realizing he has a chance to change his fate, decides to confront his brother. Walking around his family mansion, he marvels, I must have truly reincarnated because everything is as it was years ago. Today is the day my brother brutally beat me. He realizes that Essel was not his real brother but someone he treated like one. As he roams the clan, he concludes, I've traveled back years into the past, or maybe I'm just reliving my memories. Everything feels so familiar. Just then, he sees his father and his stepmother, who isn't his real mother. His father is the duke of the family. Cyan recalls how his father never paid much attention to him, thinking he was useless while his brother Kong was powerful and skilled in swordsmanship. His stepmother also favored Kong and constantly teased Cyan for his weakness. In his past life, during a similar match, his brother had brutally beaten him. His father lost all hope in Cyan, saying he would amount to nothing but garbage. These words had enraged Cyan back then, but he was too weak to do anything about it. Now, the maid advises him to concede, warning he will be badly beaten if he fights. But Cyan, determined to prove himself, declares he will fight and steps forward, drawing his sword. Come on, let's fight, he challenges, as the maid cheers for him. Everyone else sees Cyan as worthless, incapable of achieving anything in life. Cyan looks at his blade, reminiscing how long it had been since he used a proper sword, as he had always used knives as an assassin. Facing his brother, Kong sneers, You're going to die a miserable death today. I will humiliate you. Their father signals the start of the match. Kong immediately lunges at Cyan, taunting, Keep your eyes on your opponent, or you'll die. But Cyan dodges the attack, surprising Kong with his quick reflexes. Kong mocks, All you can do is dodge. Can you counterattack? Taking advantage of the moment, Cyan strikes back, disarming Kong and delivering a powerful kick to his leg, causing him to fall. Cyan places his sword at Kang's throat, declaring the match won. Kang's mother shouts for him to get up and defeat Cyan, but Kong, seething with rage, vows revenge. He remembers how Cyan had humiliated him in the same arena in their past lives, beating him mercilessly. Kong admits, If our positions were reversed, you would have beaten me senseless to prove you are stronger and more capable of leading our family. But now, I will show you how strong I've become. Kong attacks Cyan ferociously, determined to exact his vengeance. After a brutal fight, Cyan emerges victorious. A loyal servant of his father, a powerful warrior, escorts him away. Cyan reflects on the warrior's strength, knowing he would never bow to anyone. His stepmother arrives, furious at Cyan for hurting Kong. She scolds, There are no rules allowing you to beat him like this. Why did you do it? Cyan retorts, If your son is so weak, what can I do? You have no right to say anything here. His stepmother, enraged, snaps, Who knows who your mother was? Cyan, smiling, thinks, This guard only follows the Duke's orders, no one else's, not even the Duke's wife. He will protect me no matter what. Feeling satisfied, Cyan follows the guard to the Duke's office. The guard leaves Cyan at the door, and Cyan's father greets him. So, Cyan, you've arrived. Cyan greets his father and begins to explain. My father is the Duke, a strong warrior currently fighting against the demon race. He is loyal to the Empire and wants to eliminate these demons, having fought many battles and planning more. However, one of these battles will lead to his death for unknown reasons, which no one, not even Essel, knew. Cyan thinks, I don't like my father because he never paid attention to me when I was weak. He wanted a strong son to protect the Empire. As the conversation starts, his father says, I watched your fighting style. It was impressive. Tell me, where did you learn swordsmanship? Taken aback, Cyan hesitates. What should I say, he wonders. It's just a normal fighting style, he responds. His father continues, I noticed you watched Kang's stance and sword movements closely. Where did you learn to dodge like that? Cyan, unable to reveal that he learned these skills in his past life, replies, I practice swordsmanship daily in my room. His father recalls, You once told me you didn't like swordsmanship. Maybe this is your secret, so I won't press you. You've won this match. Tell me your wish. What do you want to do? I'll help you with anything, but you must become strong enough to protect the Empire. I am also angry, his father adds, because you kicked and beat your brother badly after the fight ended. Cyan, thinking of his past life, responds, he beat me like this before. I was teaching him a lesson as a warrior. In a real fight, he would have died. His father, surprised by Cyan's maturity, says, you are very capable. I believe you will do many things for our family and the empire. You will be a great help to Assel in running the empire. Hearing these familiar words from his past life, Cyan realizes his future might unfold similarly. As it happened in my past life, will I be killed by his hands again? No, this time I will not be his puppet or slave. As he thought this, his father's eyes began to glow. My son has become strong, his father said. Perhaps in the future, he will achieve higher ranks in the academy. His father continued, all right, I won't ask you anything else. Tell me about the decision I asked you to make. I can fulfill one wish of yours. Tell me what you want. Cyan thought, what should I ask for? Should I demand it now? He began to laugh evilly and said, all right, I'll tell you what I want. The scene shifted, and we saw the maid, who was very angry. Why did you ask for this? She demanded. Do you want to go fight the demon sons? Are you crazy? Your strength is very low. Cyan replied, my father has given me a month to prove myself. If I fail, I won't go. But if I succeed, I will go. The maid argued, do you know how many demon sons are there? They can easily kill you. If they attack with full power, you won't stand a chance. Cyan explained, the battle between the humans and the demon sons has been going on for a long time. In a month, I will join the fight. I don't know much about it yet, but my father gave me this chance to prove myself. I have to become strong within this month. I'll do my best. Thinking about his past, Cyan added, I have to regain my old skills, but today's fight with Kong exhausted me. I couldn't use my past life's powers because my current strength is too weak. Anyone can easily defeat me. But I have some techniques to become powerful. Suddenly, the door burst open and Alicia entered. So, you want to go to war? She asked angrily. Do you think you can survive? Just because you defeated Kong, you think you're strong enough to defeat monsters? The maid looked worried, and Cyan, feeling faint, murmured, after so much trouble, you still won't leave me alone. Alicia commanded, come to the terrace quickly. I'm waiting. If you don't come, I'll make your life miserable. The scene shifted to the terrace where they both stood with their weapons. Cyan thought, why did she call me here? If she fights me now, I can't win. I'm already exhausted. This will be my second fight of the day. Alicia said, if you can stand against me for 10 minutes, you can do whatever you want. But if you lose, you won't go to war. Cyan, shocked, replied, how can I stand against you for 10 minutes? You're much stronger than me. But Alicia drew her sword, saying, get ready for the fight. Cyan knew he had no chance of winning, but he had to dodge and block her attacks for 10 minutes. If I don't, she won't let me go to war. She always keeps her word, he thought. When she attacked, he blocked it, much to her surprise. How did you block my attack? It's not easy, she said. Cyan, feeling the pain but determined, thought, it was difficult, but I did it. I couldn't counterattack because she's too fast. Alicia stepped back, smiling. You've improved. I guess I'll need to use more of my power against you. Even though she was smiling, she was amazed at how Cyan had managed to block her attack, something she thought impossible. As she dodged his attacks, she said, all right, now I'll get a bit serious. Hearing this, Cyan's condition worsened. He thought, if I don't dodge her attacks, I'll get injured, but now she's going to beat me even more brutally. Their fight continued with both attacking each other rapidly, trying to gain an advantage. Essel attacked relentlessly while Cyan dodged. His sister taunted, is dodging all you know? If you go to that place, you won't be able to do anything but dodge. At one point, Cyan's sword got very close to Essel, who was surprised and said, how did this happen? Cyan kept pushing his sword forward, but Essel pushed him back. Cyan, astonished, thought, I've never fought like this before. My job was to eliminate targets quickly, not engage in prolonged fights. I can't sustain this kind of battle for long. I'm already in bad shape, while my sister is perfectly fine. He started to recount his past. I was part of a mist group where I was the #1 assassin. Many people idolized me for my skills. But now, with this weak body, I can't understand how to become as strong as I once was. Even with all the techniques of the Mist clan, my hands are shaking while holding this sword because of my sister's overwhelming force. Meanwhile, Alicia lost focus and went out of control, releasing her true power. Her blade began to glow, activating a powerful move. Seeing this, Cyan thought, my life is over, she's going to kill me. Her eyes are even glowing. He said all this with a humorous reaction, but then remembered that his father had sent someone to protect him. This protector had been following him and watching the fight. Cyan hoped that when his life was in danger, this person would come to save him. Both launched their moves at each other. At the last moment, the warrior appeared, blocking Alicia's attack and grabbing Cyan by his collar, lifting him into the air. The warrior was Duke's most trusted warrior. He stopped the fight and said, "Miss Alicia, you can't attack your brother with such force." Cyan, relieved, said, "Sister, you should come to your senses. My life was saved, or you would have killed me." Realizing this, Alicia hugged him and said, "Forgive me. I only wanted to stop you from going to war. I lost control of my mind, otherwise, I would never act this way." She began to cry. Cyan consoled her, thinking, "I know my sister loves me a lot. She is going to be the Empire's #1 beauty and top-ranked in the Academy. She was once given the title of hero for her talent in the Academy, fighting against monsters. But when she teamed up with Essel, and he also became a hero, they went on a mission together. After that, my sister disappeared, and was suddenly murdered. Maybe Essel did it, but this time, nothing like that will happen. I will protect my sister at all costs." He held her and said, "This time, nothing will happen to you." His sister, surprised, said, "You should leave, maybe father sent you for protection," but he left. The warrior explained, "Your father assigned me to protect your little brother from any danger." Cyan added, "That's why I moved towards my sister's sword. If I had known no one was here to protect me, I would have run away. I don't want to die in this life." And after saying this, he tells his sister, "I need some things." One day, while practicing, Cyan laments, "I've been practicing here for days, but I can't even do more than a few push-ups. My strength training is going terribly. I'm so weak here, I can't do anything. How will I take my revenge?" He recalls his previous life. "In my old life, my body shape and strength were exceptional because I worked hard to build my strength. I need my old strength back," he says, starting to cry. Seeing him cry, his maid comes over and says, "A package has arrived for you, probably something you ordered through your sister. But it smells terrible, what should I do with it?" She holds a bottle and asks what to do with it. Cyan explains, "This is hellhound blood mixed with loon blood, a very rare substance. If someone consumes this, their body becomes incredibly strong, and they gain immense strength. I need this because my physical body is so weak." The maid prepares the substance and gives it to Cyan. He says, "I used this in my previous life, though few people know about it. After consuming it, my power will increase significantly." The maid, shocked, asks, "Are you seriously going to drink this? It could be very dangerous." Cyan reassures her, "Don't worry, it won't harm me." He drinks the blood quickly. The maid asks, "How does it taste?" Cyan recalls a terrible dish she once made and says, "Compared to that, this tastes quite good." He absorbs the entire contents, and his power awakens, emitting a red aura from his body. The maid, astonished, asks, "Master, what is happening to you?" Cyan replies, "No need to worry. I'm going out for a walk now. I should go to that place." He arrives at a mountain top and says, "Whenever I felt down in my previous life, I used to come here. This place is beautiful." He reveals that years later, someone would tell Essel about a secret temple hidden in the mountain, containing a divine weapon, the God of Light's weapon. This weapon would make fighting demons much easier. Essel used this weapon to attack me, but now I've come to claim it first. He starts using his new powers, covering his body with aura. His aura is so powerful that when he punches the ground, a secret gate opens. He says, "Essel will take a long time to get here. Before he arrives, I'll take all the treasures hidden here." He proceeds towards the temple, feeling a sense of familiarity mixed with a strange sensation. He explains that the weapon Essel found was the God of Light's weapon, used in a battle against a strong demon. The demon inflicted significant damage on the God of Light, and all evidence of their fight was destroyed years ago. He sees a shining object inside the temple and says, "That's the God of Light's treasure weapon, a God-level weapon. Anyone wielding this can easily defeat any monster." He continues, "In a few years, more treasure weapons like this will be discovered as the demon sons advance into human territories. To drive them out, humans will search for and find many God-level weapons. They'll use these to push the demons back beyond our borders. Among these treasures, the God of Light's sword is the #1 treasure. If someone becomes the successor of this sword, inheriting all the remaining power of the God of Light. If he absorbs it into his body, his power will increase significantly, and he will even be able to fight the Demon King." In his previous life, he didn't know if Essel had awakened all these things, but this time Essel wouldn't be able to do anything like that. He remembers that it was because of this sword that he lost his life. Moving forward, he wonders if he can inherit the sword's power. As he reaches out to touch the sword, it rejects him, which frustrates Cyan greatly. He kicks the sword and exclaims, "How dare this sword reject me? I don't like this at all." Mysterious voices begin to emanate from the sword, though they are inaudible. After this, Cyan moves forward, saying, "I've heard about reflections. Where there is light, there is also darkness. I need to find the darkness. There might be another treasure here." His eyes fall on the shadow cast by the light sword, which has an aura of a different color. Cyan realizes, there's another treasure weapon hidden here. Maybe I can become its successor and use its power to become even stronger. Determined, he uses his considerable power to activate it. Red energy starts to emanate from him, and soon, he sees a gate through which he can access the treasure. Overjoyed, he exclaims, "Just as I thought, where there is light, there is darkness. Where there are gods, there are demon sons too. There must be a treasure related to darkness here." He quickly grabs the treasure, realizing it's the same sword he had in his past life. Holding it, he says, "It's been so long since I've seen you. Finally, I've reclaimed you. Now I can use you properly and enhance your powers even more." He examines the sword and remarks, "I really like this sword. It's amazing." The sword is revealed to be the treasure weapon of the demon god from the ancient battles between gods and demons. Suddenly, an evil entity, the soul of the sword, appears and challenges him, "Do you think you can take this sword and leave?" Cyan responds confidently, "Do you think you can stop me? The sword has chosen me as its successor. You can't do anything now." The sword soul threatens to take over his body, claiming it will soon control both the body and the sword. The soul rapidly moves to possess Cyan, but he grabs it by the neck, surprising the soul. "How can you hold me?" the soul asks in disbelief. Cyan replies, "The sword chose me as its successor, so you can't do anything." The soul attacks Cyan with nails, but he defends himself, noticing that the soul is stronger because it belongs to a god-level weapon. Cyan realizes he can't use any tricks against it. He says, "I need to refine this sword quickly," and with a smile, he declares, "This will be completed here." He successfully refines the sword, announcing, "I have controlled the sword now. You can't harm me anymore, you will become my pet." Commanding the sword soul to bow to him, it feels immense pressure and finally submits, acknowledging Cyan as its master. Cyan declares, "You are now my loyal servant. If you ever try to possess your master's soul again, if you try to take over your master's body again, I won't spare you," Cyan warned. "For now, the punishment I've given you is enough. I need to leave this place. We've been here too long, and if anyone finds out I've been missing from the clan, it could create a lot of problems. I must go." With that, he started moving forward, taking the sword soul with him. We see that the sword in his hand was now fully connected to him, having accepted him as its master. The sword soul, hovering in the air, asked, "Master, would you like to tell me how you knew about this weapon? Everyone knows about the sword of the god of light, but no one knows about this one." Cyan began to tell her about some future events, what had happened to him. However, the soul couldn't believe that he had died and come back to life. She thought, "Has my master gone mad, talking such nonsense?" "Fine, I won't tell you anything more," Cyan said, noticing her disbelief. She was surprised but didn't question him further. As he moved forward, he said, "This sword will be the end of my life. I will be killed by it, so I must reduce its power now." Using his treasure weapon, he cut off the upper part of the sword, which contained significant power. "I'll keep this," Cyan said. The soul, surprised, asked, "Master, how do you know your death will be caused by this sword?" Cyan replied, "This will be useful to me later, so I kept it." He didn't want to reveal too much to avoid creating more problems. A month passed, and the time given by his father was over. Cyan sat in a carriage, moving forward. His father had summoned him to test his performance. Cyan thought, "My father, the Duke, has called me. I must perform well in the test today. But I can't use my godly weapon because no one in this world has such a weapon." He arrived at his father's place and greeted him. His father asked, "Have you prepared yourself? Do you still want to join us in the war? Is this your final decision?" Cyan replied, "Yes, father, I want to join you in the war. This is my clear decision, and I will not change it." The Duke then instructed his loyal servant, "Summon the beast immediately. I want to test him." Cyan was surprised, wondering what kind of skill they were going to use. The servant took out a piece of paper and created a summoning pattern. Soon, a low-level hellhound was summoned. The beast was extremely aggressive and glared at Cyan, trying to intimidate him. But Cyan was not afraid. It has been kept hungry for a long time. It looks like it won't be able to control itself and will attack me directly. I must be ready, Cyan thought. Other people were also prepared to protect Cyan, ready to attack the beast if it tried to kill him. Cyan's father asked, "Do you think my son can complete this test?" The Duke remembered their fight a week ago. A flashback showed Cyan approaching his father's guard, saying, "Uncle, I want to practice with you. I want to spar. You don't need to use your full strength, just a little, because I've been swinging my sword in the air for a long time. It's not good for me. You should help me." Cyan tried to convince his uncle, saying, "You can consider it an order." The guard was thinking it over and then said, "You should spar with your brother Kong." Cyan explained that he had asked Kong, but he wasn't interested and ran away scared. The guard, after thinking more, agreed to spar with Cyan. Cyan was happy and said, "Thank you for everything." The guard, drawing his sword, said, "I won't remove the cover of my sword. I will spar with you with the cover on." Cyan agreed and prepared to use his full strength. In this fight, despite Cyan not having enough strength to defeat his uncle, he tries to put some pressure on him since his uncle isn't using his full power. "Don't use your full strength, uncle, or I won't have any chance of winning," Cyan says. His uncle replies, "All right, I'll only defend against your attacks and won't counterattack." His uncle begins to defend against all of Cyan's attacks and is surprised by his power. "Even though I'm just using my defensive power, his attacks are quite strong. I feel a strange pressure. This boy will achieve great things in the future," his uncle thinks. Cyan suddenly disappears from in front and appears behind his uncle, leaping into the air and saying, "Uncle, you should be careful." But his uncle, being an excellent martial artist, easily blocks this attack as well. Cyan is surprised and thinks, "This was an attack from my special technique, and it isn't easy to block." The fight continues this way, with Cyan's uncle blocking all his attacks but still feeling the strain. Cyan's strength had increased significantly in a short time because he had absorbed the blood of many hellhounds. Cyan says, "Thank you, uncle, for practicing with me." His uncle replies, "I believe his future will be very bright. He is only 15 years old, and his strength is already remarkable. I've heard from the family that he's considered a waste, but he is actually very strong and should be trained more." As his uncle looked at the hellhound, he thought, "I'm not too worried about the result of this fight, but Cyan can win this very easily." The fight between Cyan and the hellhound starts. They both jump and attack each other. Cyan thinks, "I don't have much time. I can't let it keep attacking me. I need to end this fight quickly." Within just 2 minutes, Cyan attacks the hellhound with a powerful slice. The attack is so strong that the hellhound can't withstand it. Cyan checks to see if the hellhound is completely defeated and says, "It's still looking at me. I used a powerful attack, but it hasn't died yet. Why?" He thinks and then decides, "All right, die now." He moves forward and attacks its throat, ending the hellhound's life. Everyone is amazed to see how strong their young master has become. His father says, "You are amazing. I never thought you would become so strong in just 1 month and defeat the hellhound." "Thank you, father, for praising me," Cyan says, but he also thinks about the wasted hellhound blood that he wanted to consume to increase his power. He couldn't do that because it would make everyone think he's crazy. His father also praises him and says, "Now you can go to the front line. Prepare yourself. You will do a great job there." Cyan thanks his father. Suddenly, his sword spirit appears and says, "Why didn't you use me in the fight? Do you think I'm just a kitchen knife to be kept aside? I needed blood to increase my power." Cyan replies, "I know, but I didn't want to use you on that beast. We should wait for a little while. We will get more blood from other monsters soon. Just wait, and I'll show you something you haven't imagined." Cyan takes out his weapon and says, "All right, wait for a bit." The weapon's soul curses him and says, "What kind of master are you?" At the front line, a massive monster attacks the human territories. The bells at the front line start ringing immediately, and an announcement is made about the monster's appearance. All the formation masters are alerted. To activate all the formations, the Duke instructs everyone, "All frontline warriors, come forward quickly so we can face these monsters." All the warriors advance with their Duke, while those in charge of formations start positioning themselves at the rear to trap the enormous monsters. Soon, we see 2 monsters caught in the formations, quickly ensnared with large chains. The Duke and his soldiers charge ahead, swiftly hunting the monsters to eliminate them as quickly as possible. The Duke and his loyal soldiers, along with the generals, are skilled professionals, making quick work of the large monsters. Cyan, witnessing all this, is amazed. His mate, who is very scared, asks, "Why did you want to come here?" and begins to cry. Cyan then sees numerous dragons wreaking havoc above. His father tells him, "You are not to stay at the front lines but should stay at the rear. Go to your room." He gives Cyan some encouragement and explains, "You just joined the army, so you need to learn our rules first before joining us at the front lines." Cyan agrees, saying, "Okay, father, I will learn the rules first." However, Cyan already knew what the frontline army does. The army continues to attack the advancing monsters. Sion explains that the front line faces 4 attacks daily from demons and monsters. His father has provided tight security to protect him from any potential threats. The well-trained soldiers ensure no monsters can harm him. Sion looks at his blanket and asks, "What are you doing here?" His mate emerges and says, "Don't you know what your father said? Our lives are always at risk here." Sion reassures her, "Why are you so scared? You've seen my strength before. I can protect you from the monsters." But she yells at him, "Stop talking nonsense. You can't survive against these monsters." Sion retorts, "Did you do what I asked? Is this how you treat your young master?" She falls silent, and Sion's body shakes with surprise at her reaction. Just then, a soldier announces, "Your meal is ready. Please come and eat." The soldiers leave, and Sion happily says, "It's time to eat. After dinner, I might start my plan tonight because I haven't killed a single monster today." He creates a doll and lays it in his place, thinking no one will suspect anything. Wearing his old life's clothes, he sneaks out to hunt monsters, aiming to collect their blood and absorb their power. As he leaves, his maid wakes up and asks, "Young master, are you going to train again? You shouldn't exert yourself so much, this is not a normal area." Sion replies, "I'm going to practice. Don't tell anyone about this, or father will be very angry with me." He leaves, but she warns, "If you don't return, I'll have to tell your father." Sion assures her, "I'll be back soon." We see Sion using his full power to kill many monsters. He then says, "Now I need to use the movement speed of my clan," and indeed, his speed increases significantly. He swiftly moves forward, leaps down a cliff, and says, "All right, let's see these monsters now." He had come a long way from those security areas and was now in the monster territory. There were many monsters in this place, and all of them started looking at him angrily. There were many hounds, but he began to smile and said, "All right, come on then. I want to see just how strong you all are." With that, he began to use his weapon and attacked all the hounds viciously. He was killing all the hounds brutally because he had a godly weapon in his hand. Using the power of this weapon was amazing for him because he could use it just like in his previous life. Killing a hound was not a big deal for him because he had killed a hound with a normal sword before. He was attacking the hound swiftly. There was a pack of hounds, causing him a lot of trouble, but he used his shadow movement to increase his speed and killed all the hounds there. The last hound left looked at him in surprise because he was so fast. He said, "Maybe this is a high-ranking hound. I didn't expect there to be a high-ranking hound here." He killed it as well and began to extract blood from the hound's body. Drinking the blood, he said, "This blood is amazing. It increases my power." His weapon also became stronger and bloodier. Despite this, the remaining beasts and monsters in the area were all watching him, preparing to attack him from hiding. He said, "These monsters think I am an easy target here, but that won't happen." He spoke to his sword, saying, "There are many monsters here. By killing them, we can both become much stronger." A large group of monsters started moving toward him. He said, "All right, come on then. I am ready to face you." As the fight continued, the scene shifted to a carriage with many guards, inside which sat a royal princess. The princess was heading towards the checkpoint, which was Sion's checkpoint. Her guard asked if they should go there, suggesting she could refuse, but the princess insisted it was her and her father's duty to inspect all checkpoints, and she needed to help her father with these tasks. Another girl with the princess mentioned that the duke had brought his son to the war area, who was of the same age as the princess. Surprised, the princess asked if the duke really brought a young boy. The girl clarified that the duke didn't forcibly bring his son, the boy wanted to come on his own. This amazed the princess, who wondered if the boy considered himself strong enough to fight in the war area. The scene then shifted to the morning, where the duke and others were fighting monsters. Sion was also shown fighting monsters, having been there for about a month. He had been training and killing monsters, though he didn't get much time to kill monsters during the day due to the many guards around him for his protection. These guards, loyal servants of his father, helped him if any beast overpowered him. Sion greeted his father, the duke, who told him there was no need to do all this now and asked him to come to his tent later for an important discussion. Sion was surprised by his father's praise, as it was unusual for him. His father said he was happy to see Sion's growing strength and asked him to come to the tent in the evening for an important talk. Hearing this, Sion felt very happy and thought, "My father has called me to his tent. There must be something important. I should go and check what it is." But then the scene shifts to nighttime, and we are not told what transpired between Sion and his father. Sion is shown fighting a highly evolved beast that was very strong. Even using his godly weapon, he couldn't inflict many scratches on the beast's body because it kept healing itself repeatedly. Xian was amazed at the beast's strength, as it was capable of shattering entire mountains. His sword spoke to him, saying, "Master, let me take control for a moment. I will kill this monster right here." Xian replied, "Are you crazy? I don't know what you plan to do. If you take control of my body, I won't be able to control it myself." But the sword insisted, "You can see that its wounds are healing repeatedly. You can't defeat it this way. Let me take control, and I will kill this monster." Xian was surprised but realized the sword was right. He couldn't kill this monster as his power was too weak compared to the beast. Xian said, "I have been absorbing blood for almost a month, but I still haven't become strong enough to face a high-level beast. I have only been able to kill mid-level beasts so far. This beast is much stronger than any high-level beast I have faced until now. Can I continue to face it?" Then Xian decided to use a special technique and thought, "I should try using this technique and see if it works." The sword again insisted, "Master, give me a chance. Let me take control of your body, and I will show this monster how strong I am." Xian started making continuous cuts on the monster's body with incredible speed, and we see Xian in an evolved form. It seemed as if the soul of the sword had taken over his body. The monster's wounds began to heal rapidly, healing faster than before.